What's up, y'all? So, I figured I would use the word of the year today, entanglements. Let's talk about entanglements. It made me think about my own life. Like, what type of entanglements have I had? Because basically, an entanglement is only like situationships and toxicity. That's all it is. Situationships, you know what that is. We've all had that. So, I'm like, let's discuss that today. Let's talk about that. So, we'll get into that. One thing that 2020 has definitely taught me is this is a year about truth and introspection. Seriously, because if you notice, a lot of things are coming to light. Like, we have already had, we've always had racism, injustices, things coming to light that were in the dark. So these things that are coming, that we're seeing are not new things. They're old things, because really it's nothing new under the sun. But 2020 is just bringing a lot of things to the surface. And so that's why I was like, okay, let me go ahead and just talk about this and what I see and how I see things. As you know, when Jada addressed, the situation that was going on with her, she said that she was trying to seek happiness outside of her marriage and outside of herself and fixing someone. I've already made videos. I think it's your happiness. You are in control of your happiness or something like that. I spoke about that before, and that's the truth, because we look for things outside of ourselves when the true answer is always within us. God is within us. The answers are within us. Everything is just within us. But for some reason, it's easier to put our focus somewhere else versus ourselves where it needs to be so that we can be better. So people will actually seek people to fix when they need the most fixing. So just things like that. I noticed, things like that I've always noticed. So I'm just like, let me just break down how I am the way that I am and how I see things. So a quick little history of me. I used to be a teacher for many years. As you know, as a teacher, you have to be licensed, you have to be credited, you have to take workshops and different psychology classes and things like that each year, yearly. So of course I was educated on the human psyche, and things like that. And basically, when you deal with children, it's the same as dealing with adults. You ever notice how they say people need to get in touch with their inner child and things like that? It's all relative. We're all alike. We all need the same things, the basic needs. So in learning that, it helps me understand how people are. Like, for when you take psychology and you are teachers and things like that, people look at stuff on the surface level, but they don't really understand the inside of what's going on. Like, say for instance, if a child is acting out, someone might get mad or frustrated with them and upset with them when really you need to get to the understanding of what's going on. The correct thing to do would be to get to the root of the problem. What's going on with the child? They don't have the vocabulary. Their brains aren't fully developed, so they really can't express themselves like we can. So you have to ask questions. So if you notice, I repeat myself. I learned that from dealing with children. I repeat the same thing because children don't have the same attention span as we do. They check out sometimes. So it's like I'll repeat myself, or I try to break things down in the simplest form for people to get it. I learned that from my years of teaching. But these are all things that help me, have a better understanding of people as a whole. And with the child, like I was saying, if something's going on with them, get to the root of what's going on with them. For instance, if you have a child that's wetting the bed between 4 and 6, the parent might get mad and say, oh, well, you're too big to be wetting the bed. What's going on? Well, you need to get into what's been going on. What's changed in the last few months since this has happened? What is some kind of incident that the child is subconsciously reacting to? Like, say, for instance, in the last 6 months, you've moved, or you got a new boyfriend, or the child's father left, or the mother left, or something. It's something that changed, something that's going on. Kids are they're creatures of routine. So it's like when things happen, it kind of throws them off. And so we really have to, stay on track of that. So it just helped me get a deeper understanding. Teaching and the education that I have, it helped me get a deeper understanding of how people work in general, because it's all the same. We're all alike. I made a video about opportunists and manipulators, narcissists, things like that, because I experienced dating someone like that. But there's always a flip side. On the flip side, you will have someone that seeks out these type of people. Like, say for instance, someone had a childhood where they had an alcoholic mother, father, drug addict family members, or they were the oldest child and the parent really didn't parent. They made them take care of everyone. Guess what type of person they will be most attracted and most comfortable with when they get older? Someone that they have to help, that they have to fix, that they have to give all of their attention and focus to, so because that's what they're used to. That's most comfortable to them. It's molded them into the role of being this person for everyone in their lives around them. So things are much deeper than we know. So it's not just, oh, people are just acting out and just, doing these things. You have to really look into things and why we do things. Ordeal, the whole entanglements word and everything has been like, it's been funny, but it's a serious issue, So it made me think about my own life. Like, what entanglements have I been in? So I know y'all like my story time. So I'll tell you about a situation I had. It was with the Sash that I told y'all about. I was with for years, back and forth, on and off. So it was a situation where we had the most honest relationship that I think of. Like, she always, even when we broke up, she had questions about the person I was with. How was it, this and that. So I just remember dealing with her. I remember we had been broken up and there was an ice storm. Our electricity was out at my mom's house. So for like days. So I went to my friend's house. So I talked to her while that happened. And she was like, well, you can come over here. So I came over her house. So while I'm over her house, I had moved on. We had broken up, remember? So I was talking to another girl. So the girl called my phone and I wasn't answering my phone. And she's like, it's fine, you can answer your phone. And I'm like, no, that's mad disrespectful. Like, you let me stay over here, I don't want to answer my phone or whatever. And we hadn't even messed or anything like that. It was like the first day over there. So she's like, I want you to answer your phone. If you don't answer your phone, I feel like you're not being honest with me and you're not telling me the full story of how things are. And just be how you normally are, just answer your phone. I'm like, okay. So I answered my phone. So I'm talking to the girl, which was the Gemini from the past that I told you about. I told you I ended up going back to my ex. This is the situation that I'm telling you about. So I was over my ex's house. I'm just talking to the girl on the phone, she's like, I miss you. I'm like, I miss you too. The girl didn't stay in my city. So she's like, I miss you. I'm like, I miss you too. We're talking for a little minute or whatever. She like, I love you. I'm like, I love you too. We don't living together probably like 2 months or whatever. But the thing is, we had never did anything. So it was like, I was still dealing with my ex, like back and forth, like, you know what I mean? It's doubling back. So, but that day, I remember I had came over her house. We hadn't did anything because it had been a few weeks. It's been a few weeks, like, since I seen my ex. I even talked to her or whatever. So, after I got off the phone with the girl, it's like, she was like, she was listening. She was in and out while I was talking to the girl. And it's like, she started messing with me after I got off the phone with the girl. And I'm like, she's like, so, asking me about the girl, like, have I kissed her, like, stuff that I did with her. So she was like asking me questions. I'm like, from the looks of it, like, she getting turned on me telling her about, like, my interactions with somebody else, that I done moved on and feeling for somebody else. And I'm like, this shit is wild. But I'm like, okay, whatever. So, I messed with her, whatever. You already know what I mean by that. So after that, basically, I was over her house for a few days because of the storm, in the house, school was out. So, because I used to work for a school. School was out, all of that. So it was like we end up being together. So those days end up turning to weeks and like all that stuff that I was over her house, we end up getting back together. But the thing is, with these situationships, the whole point of bringing this up is that it's different people that like real people, and some people actually like mess. Some people actually like stuff like that. Like, what I'm saying? I don't know what it is. People into crazy things. That's all I can tell you. But you can be in the middle of something like the girl that I was talking to that has no idea like why I stopped talking to her to this day. That's what happened. It was a situationship, and she was like in the middle of it, and she had no idea. And I really felt like, like I wasn't with my ex no more. I wasn't talking to her no more. But then that storm brought us back together. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, she down, she always there. I was used to her, so it was just like we end up getting back together. But you will end up getting used in the middle of somebody's situation and you don't even know what's going on. People ain't even telling you. They just, they end up using you. Not deliberately, but I mean, it just happens. You end up being a casualty. I really didn't have a lot to say. I just wanted to get on here and use the word of the day, the word of the year, entanglement. So just be careful about these situationships, this entanglement, all of these things. Just make sure that you're keeping it cute, keeping it classy. Be mindful of what you're doing, how you're treating people, because, they can't come back on you. Karma is real. So just, try to be good as possible, as good as you can. And I appreciate you for watching me. Don't forget to like, don't forget to share, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you soon.